Oh my god. The Nintendo Switch 2 finally just got revealed, and it looks great. It truly is shaping up to be a successor to the Nintendo Switch. A bigger screen, higher resolution, a new kickstand, mouse functionality, wait, what the hell? Magnetic Joy-Cons, all of that looks fantastic, and I can't wait. But how do I make this about Sonic? Sonic has had a strange history on Nintendo consoles, to say the least. From Nintendo exclusive remasters, to cross-platform games, to Nintendo exclusive side games, and then back to cross-platform again with the Nintendo Switch. It's been weird, and while it's great to have the latest and greatest Sonic games available portably on Nintendo Switch, there are also many downsides. The performance of the Nintendo Switch is not great at all, and is severely outdated compared to current gen consoles like the PS5 and Xbox Series X. And I know it's really easy to blame this on the portability aspect of the console, but there are other portables on the market, like the Steam Deck, that have more power than the Nintendo Switch. Yes, these consoles were released years apart, but that's just proof that this upgrade was long overdue. Some games have been very inconsistent on the Switch family of systems. Most Sonic games ran at 30 FPS, sometimes even lower, and the visual fidelity was abysmal in most cases, especially in Sonic Frontiers. I already made a full video talking about the Nintendo Switch Sonic ports, so if you want to see full comparisons, you can check out that video after this one. I'll leave a link at the end of the video. But overall, Sonic is generally inferior on Nintendo Switch, even when factoring in the portability aspect. So you kind of had to decide whether or not the portability was a good trade-off for the putrid graphical limitations. But it's fine because this really only affected Switch users, right? No. Not at all. Because the Nintendo Switch is so underpowered, it limits the developers from making the games to their fullest potential, because they have to compress it to hell and back to get it running on the Switch. If they didn't have to worry about that, then Sonic games would be far more advanced. Back when Sonic Frontiers was released, a lot of people agreed that it was very unimpressive compared to other titles released at the same time. But when beta footage for Frontiers leaked, you could kind of tell that it was supposed to be a lot bigger, and more ambitious than what it ended up being. Kronos Island was 3 times the size it is in the final game. The animations look cleaner, and there are more particle effects and other visual flair that's not present in the final game. I know it's a bit hard to tell with this crusty 240p footage, but you can see that Frontiers was supposed to be a lot bigger. A lot of people chalk this up to time constraints. The director of the game said it was simply too big, but a lot of people also think that they just couldn't get it running on the Switch in time for release. Morio Kishimoto, the director of the game, has even stated in a tweet that they scrapped enemies due to memory limitations. Wait, memory limitations? That should be no issue for the PS5, Xbox Series X, or even the PS4 and Xbox One for that matter, so it had to be because of the Nintendo Switch. To be honest, Nintendo Switch has been holding back the Sonic series and limiting it from reaching its fullest potential. So how is the Switch 2 going to amend this issue? Well, it's already practically confirmed to be much more powerful than the Switch 1. The specs of the Switch 2 have been leaked by multiple credible sources. The Nintendo Switch specs made it about as powerful as an Xbox 360, but the leaked Switch 2 specs suggest that it could be as powerful as a PS4 Pro. Not as good as a PS5, but it's still a significant upgrade. The Switch 2 having more power will allow not only Sonic Team to make higher end games for the platform, but it would also get rid of that limitation that was holding them back from making truly next-gen Sonic games. And with this power increase, I would also expect Sonic games to stop being released for PS4 and Xbox One. I feel like the only reason that was still happening is that the Switch was so underpowered to the point where they might as well just port the games to last-gen consoles, because those were still more powerful than the Switch, so it wouldn't take much effort. But since the Switch 2 is more powerful than the base PS4 and Xbox One, then I don't think we will be getting Sonic games on last-gen consoles anymore. This would also be a great change because Sonic has always sold best on Nintendo consoles, mainly because the franchise is the most popular with younger audiences. So those audiences getting access to better versions of Sonic games would then result in more people going for the Switch 2 versions of these games rather than the PS5 and Xbox versions. Remember, portability has always been a big aspect, and if there aren't any graphical trade-offs this time around, then I can see a lot of people choosing to play Sonic on Switch 2 over any other console. And with that new success, I can see a lot more collaborations and crossovers happening. Remember in the Wii U days when Sonic used to collaborate with Nintendo to bring cool Nintendo-themed DLCs to Sonic Lost World? Or do you remember the Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games series? If the Switch 2 is really that dominant in Sonic game sales compared to the competition, then I can see way more Sonic and Nintendo collaborations happening in the future, possibly even Nintendo Nintendo exclusive Sonic games like they did back in the Wii days. And of course, we gotta talk about remasters. Sonic Colors Ultimate was a mess on Nintendo Switch, and Sonic X Shadow Generations was actually pretty serviceable. But the one remaster that everyone has been wanting to happen is Sonic Unleashed. Unleashed is much more graphically demanding than Colors or Generations, and I think that's why they haven't remastered it yet, because they just couldn't get it running on the Switch without severe graphical limitations. And as someone who wants a Sonic Unleashed remaster, I wouldn't want the Switch holding it back either. I think with the Switch 2 releasing, it is now the perfect time to remaster the game, so it could have the best visuals possible. So when you combine the better performance, the portability aspect, and the existing success of the Sonic series on Nintendo Switch, I think we are now entering a new era for Sonic that will launch the series into a new direction that will allow the games to reach their fullest potential. And I can't wait. So yes, I think it's pretty safe to say that the Switch 2 releasing will be great for the Sonic series, even if you're not a Switch user. But let me know what you guys think about the Switch 2 in the comments down below, and are you as excited as I am? But that's all for me. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all later. Goodbye.